Jah Oil Company stands tall as a trusted name in energy, keeping the Gambia moving with service stations across the country and a commitment to innovation and reliability. In Farafenni, Jah Group is reshaping our industrial landscape. The Jah Oil Cement Factory can produce up to 100,000 bags a day, reducing imports, creating jobs, and building a stronger Gambia brick by brick. And in the heart of the Central River region, Jah Farming Initiative is cultivating food security. With thousands of hectares under development and modern irrigation, Jah Farming is turning the Gambia's soil into abundance. Jah Group is more than a company. It is a vision of self-sufficiency, resilience, and progress. The Jah Group of companies, investing in industry, agriculture, and energy, building the Gambia's future today.
A better way to pay your UTG fees with instant proof of payment and real-time student portal update. Paying your University of the Gambia fees has never been easier or more convenient. With Ecobank, students, parents and guardians can pay UTG tuition and related fees through our secure digital banking channels such as Ecobank mobile app, Ecobank Online, and Ecobank Omni Lite. Once payment is completed, instant proof of payment is generated and the UTG student portal is updated in real time, allowing students to proceed immediately with registration, course selection, and clearance without unnecessary delays, while giving parents and guardians peace of mind that payments have been successfully processed. How to pay via the Ecobank mobile app. Open the Ecobank mobile app and navigate to the home screen. Select Pay Bill, choose Pay a New Bill and select Schools from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. How to pay via Ecobank Online or Omni Lite. Log in to Ecobank Online and Omni Lite using your credentials. Select the menu and choose Bill Payments. Choose Quick Bill Pay and select School from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Walk into any Ecobank branch or pay through our digital channels and enjoy instant proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Ecobank, the Pan-African Bank.
Sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay nag doo ci yokk dara.
On Tuesday, the 19th of May, 2026, you're with Coffee Time with Peter Gomez, and Dr. Ismaila Ceesay has joined us with the usual weekly updates. We started with those hospital hikes. He will now continue with the other updates. Back to you.
His Excellency, President Adama Barrow, officially launched the landmark 1,500-kilometer nationwide road infrastructure initiative under the Euro National Development Plan. This commenced in the Upper River region, where the first phase was inaugurated. It's currently ongoing. I was there on Sunday with 85.2 kilometers.
Oh, you were there on Sunday?
Yes.
I was wondering what you were doing here, because
yes, I was there on Sunday. I came back Sunday night. So it's in Upper River region, CRR South is currently that is inaugurated, laying the foundation stones. These are huge road infrastructure investment that will transform that area. I've been to places on Sunday where the people were like, without those roads, they would have been cut off from civilization. But those roads now really, it's really making them to be part of.
That's exaggerating.
No, I mean, these are places that many people don't even know exist. Many people in Gambia don't even know exist because of road networks were not existing now. And I've seen with firsthand the importance of those bus roads, how they connect communities. And these are just roads that go deeper into the villages. Not even on the main, these are going deeper into the villages. These are loops that connect 7 to 8. There's 22.0 kilometers that connects almost 8 villages in a loop. And we see people come out, show appreciation. You see that really this is game changing. Together with electricity supply, water, definitely people in rural Gambia now can consider themselves to be part of Gambia, and that taxpayers' money is used to improve their life.
Why embark on this major road inauguration project now? The opposition is saying it's clearly aimed at canvassing votes, politicizing.
No, but we've been doing this
since national development.
No, but we've been doing this even before this year. Last year there were major road infrastructure fund inaugurations. The year before last, President Barrow don't politicize development. If he was politicizing development, we wouldn't, in fact, increase the price of healthcare for now. We will say, oh, it's election, we'll increase it. No, these are not political issues. These are development issues. And we try to put a wedge between what the development issues are and what political issues are. Development is about the people, and you cannot politicize development. Otherwise, you put lives in danger. So that is why this is not a political. The opposition can say whatever they want to say. That's how they see things. We listen, we take it. But that is not the case.
And that some of them are, were deliberately targeting, opposition strongholds. Kiang West, for instance.
Listen, the Kiang West Road, we started building it years ago. It is this year that it was done. And I think it's unfair for the opposition to say that delivery to the people is politics. I think they should commend the president for what he's doing and then look for weaknesses in the government and look at those weaknesses. You cannot take the entire opposition's narrative against government on these issues. They'll fail woefully. That is why last time when I came, I said they're strategically inept because they're not looking at what they should focus on insofar as governance is concerned. They are focused on petty things like, oh, you are doing this election here. What else do they have against this government apart from the what else? The debate should be about, you are doing this in healthcare. This is not the way it should be. Recently, and I'll come to that, when we announced that the labor market has absorbed 160,000 people, yet they politicized it again. We'll come to that. I'll make a clarification on that. But what I'm saying is that the opposition should do better. They should be more strategic in their communication, which they are very poor at. And I think that really is not helping them. You cannot politicize certain things. For example, now Kiang West Road, for hundreds of years they've been crying for that road. It's been a very difficult period for them. Now they have a massive road infrastructure. The only thing you can tell them is that he's inaugurated because it's election year. What else can you tell them? That how can this road really transform their life? That should be the focus and not the timing. It's not important. It's really.
And I hear potholes are already showing.
Let them bring us evidence of those. Let them bring us evidence of those potholes. Okay. We bring evidence of the roads. The pictures are there. Let them bring us evidence of those potholes. Okay. Those are solid roads. Now, so this is really important. The president is doing it. Today yesterday was in CRR. Today is CRR. And tomorrow CRR, and then he'll come back to Banjul. Then we'll do also North Bank and West Coast region as well. You're not
doing KM?
And KM as well. KM is also part of this 1,500. And also, President Barrow undertook inspection tour last week Tuesday of the phase 2 of the OIST highway project. You see the side roads they are fixing. He visited the flyover at the Jabang junction there. He also visited major roads, the Safidin Road. We were there. The Abuko Loop all the way to Banjul Landing, Tauta Coastal Road, Jabang Jambanjeli, Gunjur, Som, Jiboro Road. He visited all these road constructions. He visited the new hotel they are building behind the conference center. Beautiful hotel, which will really transform tourism in this country if it's done. And then
what was his reaction to the work going on? What was his observation?
He was happy. He was happy with what he's seen.
Pleased with everything he saw?
He was pleased. Yeah, there are still some challenges because when you road building in urban Gambia is different from rural Gambia. It's more difficult here. Access to land, access to resources is very difficult here. But also the movement of service, telecom services, water services, energy services here is a bit more complex than building roads in rural Gambia. But also here, because of the congestion, people have already settled. And therefore, but overall, I think he was pleased with what he saw. Now, the Vice President was also on tour, a 3-day assessment tour reviewing ongoing government projects in healthcare, agriculture, education, but also disaster preparedness, because disaster management is under his purview. Now, during this visit, he inspected strategic welfare and empowerment projects, the LRR One-Stop Center for GBV survivors, the Chloro Youth Organic Farm, and a modern shoe manufacturing facility in West Coast region.
Shoe manufacturing?
Yes. Oh. This shows that our local industry is going. No wonder the economy was able to absorb 163,000 people from 2022 to date because of improved and expansive economic activity taking place in this country thanks to policies and interventions by His Excellency, the President and his government. Now, Honorable Professor Pierre Gomez also presided over the official site handover for the construction of 27 new classrooms at the University of Education, the Gambia, UEG. It's a major expansion project funded by the MRC Holland Foundation. Now that Gambia has done is to build different universities, the Civil Service University. This is the University of Education of the Gambia, former Gambia College.
Used to be Gambia College.
Gambia College.
Okay.
They are going to build 27 new classrooms there to improve access to education. The Ministry of Youth and Sports, congratulations to them. They proudly hosted 11 West African delegations in Banjul for the 14th ECOWAS African Wrestling Tournament, reinforcing regional solidarity and sports diplomacy within the ECOWAS community. Gambia was the host for this, and I think Honorable Bakari Baji really needs to be commended for this successful event. And then the penultimate one is the Ministry of Justice. They successfully hosted the opening of the 87th ordinary session of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. See, Gambia is the home of human rights in Africa. That is why this session takes place in Banjul every year, where Honorable Dauda A. Jallo reaffirmed the government's commitment to justice, sector reforms, constitutionalism, and the rule of law. And finally, the Gambia Immigration Department, in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, successfully conducted a 20-day mobile biometric passport enrollment mission in Spain and Italy. They have enrolled almost 1,823 Gambians across multiple diaspora centers. That is giving them passports that they need, so-called biometric passports. So these are the updates from the government.
Yeah, I thought you wanted to say something about...
Yeah, it's exactly. So what?
163.
I'll be forced to give some lectures here today because I read a press release from the UDP, which I think whoever wrote that press release is either dishonest or is ignorant. And these two vices are very dangerous. The party challenged the claim by the government that 163,000
jobs were created
into the
2023 and 2026.
Yes, they said. In fact, it's the Gambia Bureau of Statistics, with support from the World Bank and the ILO, International Labour Organization. They did a study together with the Ministry of Trade, because they do normally periodic studies to look at the state of the economy insofar as employment is concerned, and they realized that underemployment, there has been significant increment in employment from 2022 to 2023. And when we say employment, employment is not only formal, white-collar employment. Even informal employment is considered employment. And let us look at the definition of unemployment. Unemployment is not somebody who is sitting. The Peter sitting at home is not unemployed. If he is not looking for a job constantly for the past 4 weeks and is ready to get into the job market, he is not considered to be unemployed. That is the technical definition of unemployment. So
it has to be a combination of making an effort to get a job.
If you are sitting at home
and wanting to work, whatever opportunity comes first.
That is, you are considered to be unemployed. That is how they measure unemployment rate of a country. So Peter sitting at home, not looking for a job, not ready to get into a job market, waiting to either travel or to do something else, is not considered to be unemployed. That should be very clear. Now, our figures are that those who are engaging in economic activity, either formal or informal, they are also considered employed. Even street vending. If you are doing street vending, you are employed in the informal economy. If you are a small-scale farmer, you are into transport or taxi, whether you are doing the tuk-tuk, you are a market trader, casual labor, domestic work, even self-employment without formal registration, you are it's an economic activity. You are also considered employed. Now, what this study is telling us is very simple. It is not saying government has created 163,000 white-collar jobs in government. No. What it is saying is that from 2020 to date, 163,000 people have entered the job market. They have entered the labor market, been absorbed into the labor market, whether informal or formal. Even though most is informal, but it is people who are in the job market. And I listened, and then they said that the report does not confirm the creation of stable jobs. Jobs are jobs. The report did not even say that. It says that it has absorbed 163,000 people. So there are words here which they've been very selective. Stable jobs. And then what? They said, it says here that the government is deliberately confusing survival-driven economic activity. But every economic activity is survival-driven. People work to survive. Who is working not to survive? But he said, with genuine job creation. What that word genuine? What do you mean by genuine? Job is job. What the government said in the labor policy was that we'll create the right enabling environment for the private sector to grow. And the value chain will create people to go into the job market. So, for example, today, if government has invested and started capital-intensive projects by building the battle-hardened highway roads, and then there are workers who are their laborers. These laborers need lunch during lunch and breakfast. A street vendor comes and starts selling bread and akara and rice for lunch. Because of this investment, he is engaging in that job for that woman rather than sitting at home. So that woman is counted as because of the value chain of it. And what this study has also shown is that employment has moved from mostly agriculture to services now. People are moving to services, and that's obviously because of tech and all that thing. And then they argue that he argued that many Gambians classified as employed are engaged in informal or self-employed work. What's the difference? It's a matter of semantics. They are employed, whether it is informal or self-employed work. It is still job. So I think they are being really, some of the issues they raise are not important. What is important and what we need to focus on is that, and I think that is very highly contained in our press release, in the report. The report confirms that the number of employed persons in the Gambia increased. And when we say employed person, we don't only mean white-collar government workers and formal workers. It could be street vendor, anybody who is engaging in activity and is out of the unemployment market. From 563,000 in 2022 to 727,000 in 2026, representing an increase of 163,660 people in employment over the period. The labor force also expanded by 65,000 persons, while unemployment declined from 7.6 to 6.2. So this is empirical data. The same people who are now questioning this data are the same people who are citing the labor force survey, which says that 48% of Gambians are unemployed, youth unemployment. They were citing that. Now, what is the difference from this? The same body, the same G-boss, a competent body. Nobody questions their competency insofar as data collection and research is concerned. They did their study and found out that the labor market has expanded. It has absorbed 163,000 people who are in different sectors doing different types of jobs across the entire value chain, from construction to agriculture to services, you name it. Now, we should be happy with that. Because why we should be happy with that? It has serious implications for peace and security and stability. High unemployment is not good for a country. I think every Gambian, including opposition, should celebrate. But again, whenever we focus on delivery, they politicize it. How do they politicize it? Because they know that at the end of the day, come December 5th, 2026, Gambians will have to make a choice at the polls. And that which will influence their choice is what has been delivered in the past 5 years. So whenever they see a delivery, they are worried that because every delivery increased President Barrow's chances of having a landslide victory in the elections. For example, there are issues that will define next elections. Employment is one. But then here is the data which says that we've done well in employment. They don't want that. They want us to perform badly. Infrastructure, roads is two. That is why they always find excuses to say, no, it's either they say there are potholes or they're inaugurating because it's election. They must find something. Because these are things that is the palmarès. How do you call it in English again? This is the...
Like report card?
The report card of the president. They don't want that. So we're not worried. And in fact, I celebrate when they come with these petty rebuttals. I say, oh, then we are doing well.
Oh, it's petty?
If they had... No, let me give you an example. The day I came here last week and talked about these 163,000 jobs into the job market, I also announced that the SOEs made a turnaround of $5 billion in revenue profit from 2.5 million deficit aggregate to 5 billion. They didn't raise that issue. They didn't see that as an important political election issue. They are quiet on that one. But employment is a question for the elections. People are going to ask questions, Prime Minister President Barrow. You promised 150,000 jobs. Why is it, Mr. President? He can say, this is the data. I have gone beyond 150 and give you 13,000 more because of my policies. And we are not saying the government employed everybody. It's not possible. But we create the environment for private sector to grow. And when private sector grows, agriculture grows, it creates an entire value chain which puts people into employment. They don't want that. Roads. The president can say, I have built these kilometers of roads. Education, healthcare. They don't want that. That is why whenever they go after something, attack something, I'm happy. Then I know we've succeeded. When they stay quiet about it, I get worried.
Oh, you get worried?
I get worried.
But they've stayed quiet about SOE Commission's report. Are you worried about that?
No, because for them, it's not a political issue. It's not a defining issue for elections for them. The defining issues that the president come and say, look, I've done X, Y, Z, which will increase his chance. Anything that increases his chances, definitely. They don't want it, and they'll always... And for me, my concern is with them. To be honest, I'm very worried about the opposition.
Worried?
Yes.
Why
Because
should you?
they say the wrong things, always. When figures like this come out from a competent authority like GBOS, this is empirical, this is data, high-quality data. The response should not be questioning the number and bringing it down to debate between formal and informal, no. The question should be, how do we make this, what is important is the quality of it as well. And the debate should be on, but are they receiving the right salaries? To what extent is underemployed? This should be the debate, and not the numbers. And they got it wrong. That should have been the focus of the debate. The debate should have been,
well,
are the
debate
salaries
of salaries can only be when we have a minimum wage.
That's what I'm saying. So that is the debate. Now that should be the debate. Now how do we do that? That's how we think. Okay, fine. Now we are getting more people into the job market. How do we now regulate so that's a minimum wage? So people are not abused and exploited in the job market. That should be, and that is the government's focus now. That is next. Now
that is next?
That is next, of course. Okay. We are going to do that. We want to make sure every government worker is protected, and no government worker is exploited, and every government worker is paid the value of his labor. That is the government's focus now. And at the opposition, really, they messed it up this time. This would have been their angle. Say yes.
They messed up this.
They messed up their response to this. They always messed up in their response to this. They really failed woefully in their response. They should have said, yes, government, fine. You've created 160,000 jobs. Thank you very much. And kudos to you. But some Gambians are paid less than the value of their labor. Some Gambians are still struggling to make ends even though they're working. Then they put government to a task. But they did not do that. That is why I'm going to repeat it. They are strategically inept in their communications is poor, the opposition. And then they should go back to basics and learn how to communicate when they're in the opposition.
5 minutes to 9 o'clock. Let me read you this text. Actually, it's meant for the CMD who's left us. My question is, how long will the RVTH, they're still calling it RVTH, it's now EFSTH,
yes.
EFSTH renovation, it's taken over 3 years or more since it started and still not finished. That amount of time spent on renovation could have built us a new, fresh hospital. This is from Bubakar Sano from Fajikunda. And my second question is, what happened to those people who were found importing that syrup that caused AKI? As far as I know, nothing has happened to any one of them.
Well, I think the second question I can answer. I think the matter is still in the courts, if I can remember right. The first issue is that there is no basis on the claim that the money spent on renovation could build a brand new hospital. Well, even though we are renovating, we are still building brand new hospitals across the country. We are renovating more hospitals. But I think, remember also, the FSH is not a new building. It's a very old building. It's been there for, I think, even before independence. Correct me if I'm wrong, you know. And I think renovating such a building, it's not an easy task, because you can make your design, and even start renovating.
And even the quality of work.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah, start renovating, and you need, okay, here we need to expand here. So it's something that, and the president sometimes, he wants the best. They can accept and endorse a plan and a design. He comes to visit and realize that, okay, let's expand this, because this is also needed. So the most important thing is not the time it takes, is that what it delivers. Quality, state-of-the-art, modern AFSTH, that is in line with 21st century healthcare facility.
Yeah. We know the difference between RVTH, and now
it's a huge difference.
Mr. Minister, we the communities of Nemakunku, Bundung, Bakote, London Corner and Kotu want to know when the Waka project or canal or drains will kickstart. This project was launched in 2022, but nothing is done on the ground, and it is supposed to end in 2027.
Well, I think the Waka project officials are in the best position to come and respond to that. I know it's ongoing. It's a World Bank project. It's not like it's a government GLF funded project. So World Bank projects are normally projects that go very fast, and because obviously the money should be there. So I don't know why. What the delay, I cannot say. I think it's for the work officials to come and respond to this. After this meeting, I'll engage the Minister for Environment, who is overseeing the project, to give me updates on the project for next week.
Good morning, Uncle Peter. Please tell Minister Ceesay and the medical director that at the maternity ward in Canifing General Hospital, doctors, nurses, and NAWEC need to be advised. Because some weeks ago, I took my neighbor's wife to Canifing General Hospital labor ward around 3 a.m. No doctors, no nurses, no lights. We went up and down looking for them. They were nowhere to be found until the woman in labor was shouting that the head of the baby is coming out suddenly. I'm sorry.
That's unfortunate.
Very, very distressed. Suddenly, a nurse just came in and attended her, and it took about 40 minutes before the lights came on. That is very unsafe, especially in a labor ward.
That is unfortunate. It is unfortunate. It's unacceptable. It should not happen if it happened. I think we all must take responsibility as citizens and as people who work and are responsible for different workstations across the country. If you are paid as a nurse or a doctor to do a job, you have to do it. And government cannot be everywhere. The minister cannot be everywhere. The CMD cannot be everywhere. What we can do as a government is to provide the infrastructure, which we are doing, the equipment, which we are doing, train the staff, pay them, which we are doing. But when it comes to the operational aspect of it, 3 o'clock at night, someone should be there, making sure they receive patients. They must be there to receive it. We'll make sure we bring this to the attention of the minister and his team. Let them make sure that now the supervision should be really vigorous, because we cannot, as a government, do all these investments while a few people sit there to really not give service to the people. Public service is a sacrifice. Once you decide to be a nurse, you're not forced to be a nurse or a doctor. You make a decision to be there. We train you, we give you the equipment. You really have to do your job. So we'll bring this to the attention. And this really, if it has happened, it is unacceptable.
It's just Gambian attitude sometimes. Yeah. I made that point to Dr. Pt. because, I had my own experience at the hospital yesterday, and I was glad it happened to me. Because some of them, once they didn't know me. It's after you've given them your credentials that they
look at you again.
Look at you again, and try to change the narrative and all of that. But what about a standby generator for the Canifing General Hospital if they don't have one?
That is why we need to find this out.
The issue of NAWEC also came up.
We'll bring this up to the C. I'll call him now. Let them find out what's happening there. There's hospital management at KM. I've met someone at KGH. We need to find out what is happening there. But I can tell you that this is not government's position, and government doesn't endorse this, and government doesn't support this, and government condemns such instances of operational failures. If it indeed has taken place.
It's just as should be done. It has taken place. Doctor, thank you very much for your time this
Thank
morning.
you.
Jah Oil Company stands tall as a trusted name in energy, keeping the Gambia moving with service stations across the country and a commitment to innovation and reliability. In Farafenni, Jah Group is reshaping our industrial landscape. The Jah Oil Cement Factory can produce up to 100,000 bags a day, reducing imports, creating jobs, and building a stronger Gambia brick by brick. And in the heart of the Central River region, Jah Farming Initiative is cultivating food security. With thousands of hectares under development and modern irrigation, Jah Farming is turning the Gambia's soil into abundance. Jah Group is more than a company. It is a vision of self-sufficiency, resilience, and progress. The Jah Group of companies, investing in industry, agriculture, and energy, building the Gambia's future today.
A better way to pay your UTG fees with instant proof of payment and real-time student portal update. Paying your University of the Gambia fees has never been easier or more convenient. With Ecobank, students, parents and guardians can pay UTG tuition and related fees through our secure digital banking channels such as Ecobank mobile app, Ecobank Online, and Ecobank Omni Lite. Once payment is completed, instant proof of payment is generated and the UTG student portal is updated in real time, allowing students to proceed immediately with registration, course selection, and clearance without unnecessary delays, while giving parents and guardians peace of mind that payments have been successfully processed. How to pay via the Ecobank mobile app. Open the Ecobank mobile app and navigate to the home screen. Select Pay Bill. Choose Pay a New Bill and select Schools from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. How to pay via Ecobank Online or Omni Lite. Log in to Ecobank Online and Omni Lite using your credentials. Select the menu and choose Bill Payments. Choose Quick Bill Pay and select School from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Walk into any Ecobank branch or pay through our digital channels and enjoy instant proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Ecobank, the Pan-African Bank.
Vif lay fay. Sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Scan to pay.